Um, about the relative middle. It could have been earlier than that. Maybe it was earlier. I can't fucking remember, man. But I hung out with like the Burnout crowd, and one of the acquaintances was like, "We're the bunch of Burnout. We are the Burnouts." So, anyway, they were playing. One of them, both of them, or maybe one was playing, the other one was just watching. That's typically how it. Anyway, and they were playing Grand Theft Auto, and I think High Pressure Dave by Health is a soundtrack on that. I can't remember. It might be 4, Grand Theft Auto 4. I'm not a huge fan of sandbox games, to be honest. If it's too overwhelming, to be honest, in my opinion, it's too much fucking work. It becomes a full time job. I'm more in like Ocarina of Time, where there's just there's only so much. Anyway, teach their own. I mean, obviously, people are waiting for that newest one. So, what I mean? They fucking, people will kill for that game. Anyway. So I was like, man, that song's pretty cool. I'll check out some of the other stuff. I picked up the first album, or I listened to the first album. I was like, this is fucking very interesting. It was very kind of like caveman-esque, but in terms of like noise rock, like alternative rock. No, I guess you could throw indie rock in there or whatever, because there is a little bit at the end of it. But kind of like just exploring, just experimentation, not knowing exactly where they're gonna go. But you could see like some of the, some influences are kind of on their sleeve and stuff like that, which I'm not too familiar with, and I'm not gonna fucking recite anything right now. In my opinion, I mean, I'm sure someone will be like, well, they actually sound like blah 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 blah. But to me, it just, when I heard them, I'm like, they just sound so different. They just sound, I don't know anyone else that sounds like them, to be honest. I don't know anyone who's made music like that since, to be honest, or even before it. I'm sure once again it's out there. The only two bands I could potentially, maybe, but not really even close, would be like No Age, and then I think Death Above 1979 or whatever. I think, but they're not this. It's not the same. The Health is way noisier generally. The second album, they kind of got. I mean, I think there might have been some electronic influence in the first one. I mean, it seemed like there was like electricity or whatever that they were like kind of like manifesting, that they were kind of like. So, real quick, years ago, I went to a psychedelic festival, local psychedelic festival, took acid, and dude was chainsawing a sculpture out of wood, just a giant log, and just how he makes his art. But he was playing along to a band playing, which I think was possibly like, maybe it was a guest feature or something like that. I don't think he was just like doing it by chance. I'm sure that would have been kind of annoying or invasive, but it sounded so fucking beautiful. And this is kind of like that, but instead of a chainsaw, it's like I said, like they're kind of like manifesting or messing with electricity in various waveforms or whatever, and which is obviously what they're doing when you're doing synthesizers and shit, blah blah blah, whatever. But anyway, second album, they became a little bit more electronic, but still, I feel like they were unsure of where to go. I could be wrong, but I mean, maybe they knew exactly what they were fucking doing. I don't fucking know. I mean, obviously they didn't, they were competent. And by the third album, I feel like they were like, okay, we need to have some kind of foundation, and then we can like maybe it'll be a jump pad or a trampoline or whatever the fuck, I don't know, some kind of launching pad, whatever the fuck. And they went in like kind of like a club, like electronic club music oriented. It's kind of gothic by that point, a little bit, a lot more gothic. By their third album, by their fourth album, it's very gothic, but they're now starting to turn metal, and which reminded me very much of like Black Sabbath. Like a return of Black Sabbath, but like in their own way. But like I said, electronic music. I mean, it seemed like they finally started having, and like by the fourth album, I feel like this is where they had that foundation of their own. They had their own sound. The experimentation is still kind of there, but like they kind of finally honed in on it. And by the fifth album, I feel like they're now commercial by this point. They're this gothic metal electronic band, and I haven't listened too much. I kind of listened to the fifth album, but I don't really remember it too much, other than Ashamed, which is featuring what's her name? Lauren Mayberry, Churches. Yeah. which I definitely prefer that version over the album version. It's just dope. That shit's always so dope. It reminds me of like there's a band I saw in Philadelphia a long time ago called, I think actually, no, they didn't know, but it was in Philadelphia, and they're called, I don't know if they still are kicking it or whatever. They're called Remote Slash Control, but Remote Control, and they had this one song I haven't listened to in a long time, but it's like apparently a demo. I can't remember what the fuck it's called, but there was a fuck, I cannot, maybe Wasteland. It's called Wasteland. Remote Control Wasteland. It might be on SoundCloud still. I hope it's on YouTube maybe or something. I hope it's still available. But I bought a T-shirt from them. I mean, that's like a few things like but yeah, it's Remote Slash Control dash Wasteland parentheses demo. But that's one of the I mean they put out some other stuff. I think they put out a couple other tracks, but it just anyway. Just I'm sorry, I know I'm talking about fucking other shit, but the just the duo, the male female kind of, just two different kind of like perspectives. It could be, a higher pitch voice and lower pitch voice. It doesn't have to always be that case, but you know what I mean. It's just nice. I don't know. It's interesting. It's always just to me. I like that kind of shit. Not, I mean, obviously everything's got a time and place, but and like, there's definitely nothing wrong with them becoming commercial or whatever. I mean, once when you get, if you want this to be a career and something starts working for you, why the fuck would you like kind of like step away from that? You know what I mean? Especially if you've the amount of passion, blood, sweat, tears, etc. that you've put into this, and you got to this point, and I don't know, I guess you could step away from it. There's a chance. I don't know. I don't think. I don't. I'm not saying like they. I mean, I guess in a sense, I guess they sold out, but I mean that. I mean, it's not good. It's Nirvana, Sonic Youth kind of. You eventually get to this point. You get that tipping point where now, you're in the zeitgeist of sorts. Even though, I mean, nowadays, it's not the same. I mean, it's like you're in a niche zeitgeist, but video games, you might have heard them generally. Current members are Benjamin Jared Miller, Jake Dudzik, John Famigiletti. I hope I said that. Famigiletti. And then ex-member Jupiter Keys, which I will probably talk about Crystal Castles another day, because I grew up listening to not only Crystal Castles, but then later on Health, and I don't know how close. I'm not gonna, but I don't, anyway, it's a pretty cool band. I really like this band. Autonomy and free will is important. Enough said.